Hi, this is Mayhem News Live wrestling broadcast. We're a little later this week than we were. We were not home most of the day yesterday, so wasn't able to do a show. So we're coming to you on a Wednesday. A lot of headlines today. We're going to talk about Raw, and we're going to talk about some ROH news, but not much ROH stuff out, so it's mainly going to be the headlines and Raw. Karma has been preparing us for her return to TV, quote unquote, via her Twitter account. That's @Karma. She talked of getting new ring gear, quote unquote, and that returning would be happening soon. The big question is, where is she going? WWE or TNA? Most would say TNA, but with TNA floundering, could TNA tempt her to return? We believe here that she's going to go back to WWE. Because you got to be honest, nobody jumps on a sinking ship. Nobody fights to get on a sinking ship unless it's a submarine. So I truly think that she's going to come back to WWE, and I think it's going to do the Divas division some good. Next on the list, we got TNA Dixie Carter. TNA Dixie, her official Twitter account last night, got bombarded with negative tweets after the announcement by TNA management regarding the release of Jesse Sorensen. NoDQ.com posted a statement from Sorensen, who, as you know, suffered a neck and vertebrae injury while working with TNA. Stated on a post on NoDQ.com that he was promised by Dixie Carter herself that he would always have a job at TNA. And she got bombarded. She started one of those Ask Dixie things, and they pulled out the heavy artillery big time. They tore her a new one. He stated that she promised him he would always have a job, stated he felt betrayed by Carter and TNA. Our feelings is this, especially when it comes to Jesse Sorensen. The talent in wrestling today sacrifice their bodies, their health daily, some giving their lives. Owen Hart, their mobility, the draw is Sorensen, and in some cases spend their entire adult lives giving to the business they love. Good example, Ric Flair. For someone to make a promise to a talent they would always have a job, then release them out of their current contract is wrong. Promises that can't be kept should never be made. Dixie Carter was wrong to let him go if she did make this promise. Sorensen probably learned that now if someone promises you something, get it in writing. Because if it had been writing, you could have named it what you wanted to, because you would have owned TNA. Well, he has started I don't have the web page, I couldn't find it, but he talked about it. He started a thing that can help him raise money to try to assist. He was doing some bodybuilding, and because of this, he's actually going to have to drop out of that show because he's not getting paid by TNA, so he can pay his stuff to go to this show. The PW Insider reports that WWE could be interested in Matt Morgan. I myself think it's wise, even though Matt Morgan is 36 years old. He does not look his age. I know he's been in WWE before. I know he never really hit it off, but the WWE now is not what it was when he was on Next. Actually he was on Tough Enough. So, it was not the same thing. you know, when he was actually on the show, whatever show he was on, there's so many of them. But, you know, he just didn't get the push that he did, and they didn't do him right in TNA. Some of the half-ass storylines they had him in TNA, you know, it just wasn't right. So they are looking at him. So, you know, TNA's woes continue as the Missouri house show. I don't know why I couldn't say that word. Has problems with wrestling licenses. There are wrestling license problems preventing most of the roster that was there from competing. This is just one of the many problems plaguing TNA. From releasing of talent to late payments, TNA is hemorrhaging from every orifice. I like TNA for many of its talents. As far as the company, they are living above their means. They took the show on the road. They took the company shows on the road, but, you know, with the lack of revenue from the many pay-per-views they shelved, it's hurting them, combined with the cost of a traveling show. Now, they do have somebody took over Pritchard's job, so we're going to see how he maybe does, you know, changes the way TNA works. You may actually see them, you know, maybe slowing down the moving off into on the road and maybe doing some more pay-per-views. But we're just going to have to see. You know, I believe they've got so many holes plugged in the ship, you know, punched in the ship right now, that the little band-aids that they're doing is too late. Yeah, you signed Rampage Jackson, but, you know, is it too late? You know, you've got, I hate to say it, but you still got Bischoff working there. You still got Hogan still working there. You know, it's just, you know, people are going to stop, and then you're going to start losing their big names here, and it's not going to be because you released them, it's going to be because they're leaving on purpose. So, and it's just going to be a sign for the end. Is Lisa Marie Varon or Tara from formerly of TNA training to prep to return to WWE? She is hinting via her Twitter, that is at Real Lisa Marie. She's using the hashtag, what is she prepping for? What is she preparing for? So, you know, it's kind of interesting to see. We know she's not going to go back to TNA, so it's going to be interesting. We're going to move on to some Raw notes. Raw opens up with a contract signing with Bryan and Cena. First, let me address the noise in the background. They are remodeling some stuff on the front of our apartment, and they're putting up the upstairs balcony. So if you hear some hammering in the background, those are not gunshots or anything. Those are those guys putting up the balcony upstairs. So, and I've already postponed the show one time, so, you know, I had to go ahead and do it. So I'm just going to try to speak over it, so I apologize. Okay. But Brad Manax questioning Bryan's worthiness. A lemon fillet served over a bed of crisp red peppers and vibrant sweet peas. Tomato basil bread pudding. Sorry, had to look for a remote. With Bryan's, basically Manax was questioning Bryan's worthiness of being in a match for the WWE title. I think maybe Manax is just character-wise is jealous that it's not him. Anyway, because of his size, Bryan was being questioned, and Cena mentions people like Eddie Guerrero, Shawn Michaels, you know, Rey Mysterio, just to name a few smaller WWE champs. Maddox says Bryan has to prove his worthiness in competing in matches. That's multiple, as if we didn't know what the plural of matches was. The first match of the night is Sheamus versus Del Rio, and Sheamus was sporting a huge bruise on the inside and outside of his left thigh from hitting a ladder in table Money in the Bank. It really looked bad and it really looked painful, and Sheamus was much of a man to come out and wrestle with that kind of bruise on his leg, I have to admit. It was a pretty good move, pretty good match between him and Del Rio. Of course, Del Rio, you know, the bruise was like a big target. So, you know, With Del Rio coming out with a win, there is news that Ricardo Rodriguez is supposed to come back, so they'll be adding him back to Del Rio's entrance pretty soon, and maybe he can stay away from whatever he was getting into. There's been a lot of they haven't really said what it was. I think if it had been marijuana, they usually say that right off the bat. Somebody mentioned something about fat burners or something that was in the fat burners that he was using. It violated the wellness policy. So the next match, Titus O'Neil and Christian had a match, and surprisingly it was pretty good. I don't mind O'Neil as much as a single competitor as I do with the primetime players. And if you'll hear Seth in the background, Seth does not like the noise, but he wants to watch TV, so he comes in here, he stands it a few minutes and goes back to his room. So, but Christian, they put on a real good match with Christian hitting the kill switch to basically end the match and win it. Ryback did some kind of interview with, I believe it was Josh Matthews. He's one of the little guys, and pretty much paraphrase the interview. Ryback basically says blah blah blah, I'm a bully, blah 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 in the interview, and I didn't watch all of it. I had to go to the bathroom. It's pretty much drove me to the bathroom because it was so they're pushing no bullying, but yet pretty much all he was saying was I'm a bully, which I hate to tell you, Ryback, that's already been took. We have Bully Ray for that. So anyway, thank God Mark Henry comes out, talks about the attack by the Shield last week. Says if he can take a beating like that, he can sure as heck give one, and calls out the Shield again. Does pretty good. You want to say something? Hey. Yeah. Calls out the Shield. He does pretty good, but of course the numbers game as always, and the Usos come out and send the Shield packing. I'm kind of liking the combo of the Shield and everything. Well, go to your room, baby. Go back there. You can't hear him. Say hey. Hey, say hey. Hey, he went, hey. Ziggler versus Darren Young. Other than Ziggler, putting on a good match for Darren Young. Anyway, and basically Ziggler winning the match and dodging an attack by Big E and AJ Lee. And then they showed a cutscene of AJ Lee and Big E, and it looks like Big E's going to reach down and just smooch her right there. And then he just kind of kisses her on the forehead, and I'm like thinking, friend zone? did he just friend zone AJ? And what I want to know, was AJ really mad about Ziggler, or was she ticked off because Big E has bigger boobs than she does? I'm sorry. It was an old joke, but it had to go there. Anyway, we had Miz TV. Hi. Go back yonder. Say bye-bye. Go back yonder. But we had Miz TV. We had the Total Divas cast. We had Eva Marie slapping Jerry the King Lawler, trying to get some heat. Probably going to be a heel. It stuck out like a sore thumb. And of course, don't forget the wardrobe malfunction of Brie Bella. It's a nipple, people. It happens. Get over it. I mean, she accidentally had a nipple slip. I mean, come on. It's not like she's got that much to look at in the first place. I mean, jeez. At least when Caitlyn had one, she had something to look at. Anyway. Strong win by Cody Rhodes over Fandango, which we expected anything different from Cody. I mean, he was facing Fandango. Hush. Yes, I understand. Recent decent match between Barrett and Rob Van Dam. Barrett is starting to grow on me a little bit. The changes in his character and his attitude has been, pretty much doing him some for the good. Him and Van Dam had a great match with Van Dam beating him with a 5-star frog splash for the win. Bryan puts on a clinic. Daniel Bryan puts on a clinic, taking on We the People Swagger. I'm sorry, I can't help but say that. And he beats him. Oh yeah, he basically does what I call Malenkoing, and my new word is for using more moves than a Rubik's Cube. It's called Malenkoing after Dean Malenko. He pulled out moves, every move under the sun to beat Cesaro as well. Of course, Ryback comes back as Bryan's third opponent in 30 minutes. Very impressive match with Ryback, but Ryback ultimately DQing by putting Bryan through a table and Cena stopping him from hurting him. They got some matches for next week. Hush now. Cena versus Ryback in a table match, and then Bryan versus Kane. I know that's going to make Captain Ear happy that the Monster's coming back. Well, that's all my notes for today. We're going to talk about some of our sponsors real quick. It's going to be kind of a quick show today because my son's kind of upset with all the noise and stuff. So we're going to kind of do a quick show this week. So our sponsors this week, as usual, is Zach Pack Promotions on November 16th of this year. Whoops, sorry, kicked the table. And 17th at Katy, Texas, at the VW Hall, WWE Zach Pack Promotions, or WWE Zach Pack Promotions, Bustin' for Autism. You can check out that page. You can have lunch with the stars. She's giving away, if you buy stuff, she's giving away tickets for SmackDown and some other things. And Greg the Hammond, Valentine, Snitsky, Joey Image, Sergeant Slaughter. We'll go over there and sit in your chair. Hacksaw Jim Duggan and the Hockey Tonk Man, just to name a few. Also Dustin Reynolds is going to be there. We've also got Sergeant Slaughter, Julian Gaspard, Priscilla Barnes, Jason Gowan, Greg the Hennessy, Jackie Pusey. She's funny, by the way. Jim Decker, Brett Trevino, and Tony who? Acree.
Acree, yeah.
Yeah, Tony Acree is going to be there. And, it's going to be, she is gathering stars and stuff that's going to be there. You can fill up an address book on pretty much the people that she's going to be there, have there. So, our second sponsor we're going to talk about is Seth. Is my wife's page. That's www. We're going to say it's fightingdisabilityslurs.wordpress.com, and she's fighting the use of disability slurs, not only disability slurs but racial slurs, gay and lesbian slurs, pretty much anything that puts anybody down. We're trying to fight, and you can also follow her, find her on Fight Disability Slurs on Facebook, and give her a like. If you heard the music, Throttle gives us our New Blood, our theme music. I want to thank Throttle. That's at Official Throttle on Twitter, and at Fiddler Throttle is one of the band members that we talk to all the time. Great guy. For allowing us to use New Blood as our theme, and all of their singles and their albums can be purchased on iTunes. They have a new album coming out called Razor Wire Finish Line. As soon as we get information on it, we'll let you know. And if I get any information from them on concerts and where they're going to be, I'll be glad to let you know. So that's been the show today. It's going to be a little short. We've got some construction going on around here, and my son's kind of upset, and he wants daddy. So, but don't forget, we'll be here Saturday. Remember that the weekly show has been moved to Saturday. We'll be covering SmackDown and anything we missed at the first show this week. So I appreciate it, and we'll be back later. Okay, we got music, but yeah. Also, if you want to follow us, it's at Mayhem News Live, and with the first letter of every word capitalized. If you want to follow us on Facebook, it's Mayhem News Live. You can follow me at Team of Lives, and in September we will be going back live through Google Plus. I will have a new computer by then, and we will also be looking for our new co-host. Me and Stacey Lynn's gonna try to find some help and help us. We know there's just two of us now, so we're gonna try to find us a new one. And just want to let everybody know that we're gonna be back live starting that first week in August. So, and I'll be making announcements via Twitter and Facebook. And I'm gonna let Throttle take us out. And this has been Mayhem News Live Wrestling broadcast. Talk to y'all later.